Have you ever been curious what backstage actually looks like? Well, today I'm gonna show you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan. I am a professional figure skater and I have been working on board for 5.5 years. I am currently working on board the Utopia of the Seas. I am part of the original cast of Utopia, and it has been an absolute honor to bring this show to life and get to perform it for the past 7 months. But today I wanted to give you a walkthrough of not only my backstage, but also backstage of the theater as well as the Aqua Theater. This is a unique experience because I don't typically go backstage in those other venues. I'm only performing in Studio B, so I don't just go walking around backstage theater or Aqua. But I did reach out to a couple friends that I have in the other venues and asked for their help in showing you around their venues and their backstage, because their venues and backstage look a lot different than Studio B does. If you guys want to follow me on a more up-to-date basis, you can follow me on my socials. I will have those linked down below for you. It is at JBAUTH. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. With that being said, let's jump on in to our first venue. We are starting to tour off strong with my favorite venue on board, Studio B. Studio B is my favorite because, of course, this is the venue that I perform in as a member of the Ice Cast. Compared to the Aqua Theater and the Royal Theater, this is the smallest venue when it comes to seating guests. Studio B seats around 800 guests when watching the show. On Utopia specifically, we do have the LNG towers, which does impact the seating a little bit in Studio B. Because Studio B is located centrally, it does cut off a few of the seats. So I want to say this specific Studio B holds around 700 or 750. Our backstage here is very small. It seems to get smaller and smaller the more ships they build, but we make it work. We had to get a bit creative during the startup process because nothing was set. We had to figure it out, sort out where we were gonna put our costumes, where we're gonna do quick changes, things like that. So we are currently stage left. This is where I have about half of my changes in the show. I do start the show on stage left, so this is where I get ready when it comes showtime, and I would say my changes are pretty balanced. So I have half over here and half on stage right. So right behind me we have a rack. This is where we will hang some of our costumes for the show. So right now it's empty, but when it is showtime, this thing is completely covered. Right beside the rack is where I get ready for the show and I do my changes. So they did build these really nice little benches. It's a bench with a shelf underneath for some storage, and attached are these racks so we can hang stuff from here as well. It's very useful and it's a very good use of space since we do have limited space. Fun fact, all of the venues have what's called an e-stop, so you do not press this button unless it's absolutely necessary, but it is stage left. The PM does run the show from stage left, so we have a big screen with 4 different angles of the ice surface. This is his computer, a bunch of stuff. I have no clue how it works, but this is how he runs the show. That is his chair right there. Next to the TV, we have some microphones. We have a first aid kit over here. So we have a rack there, and then we have 3 more on this wall. As you can see, there are some accessories or some props that are hanging here. This is Trent's bag. He likes to have all his stuff just ready to go there, preset. We've got 2 of the wheels for the car section of our show, and we do also have a shoe rack. This is also a very useful way to organize things and preset accessories for the show. There's also one on stage right, which I will show you, but we had to get creative here. And we do have a mirror, but it is far too tall for me to use, sadly. So everyone else in the cast can enjoy this but me. As you can see, it is not very big back here for a cast of 12. All right, moving on through. In this little Harry Potter corner, we hang our Candy Couture costumes for the show. Since they're so big and heavy, this is just way easier for us than having to bring them up and down the stairs into the dressing room. So they live here. And we also have these suitcases from our opening section stored here as well. So these go all the way back, but they're on the floor behind the costumes. If you continue following through stage left backstage, you will end up in this little hallway area. Don't really know what you would call this, but it is underneath the seats in Studio B. This space is primarily used to store our all skates racks, which we use for our public skating, as well as the skate sharpener machine. I never touch that because I don't know how to sharpen skates. But we do have one on board, and there are 2 people in our cast who are paid additionally to sharpen the skates of both the cast members and also the all skates, because these need to be maintained. We do have little candy canes here that were meant to be props in our show, but it did get cut, so they're just kind of hanging there. And we do have a vacuum machine that sits here. So this is the one that I borrow when I vacuum the cabin. So this is the machine that is used to sharpen skates. It's brand new, obviously, because the ship is brand new. Some safety glasses right there, and then these racks are quite heavy and they hold all of the skates that we hand out for public skating, and it is tied so that if it's rocky they don't go sliding everywhere. They are tucked in. Continuing on, we are now in the PM's office. This is also Sammy's office space. She has her own desk here. This is a big open space. We use this for a bunch of different things. It's mostly storage, but of course, like I said, it is the PM's office, so he has his desk, his workspace, his computer. During the show, some of the cast has changes here, so they preset their costumes. They put a chair out and lay out their costumes accordingly. I do keep my Candy Couture wig here, so it just sits in this little cubby. And we are able to keep some of our accessories down here. We have a lot of helmets for the public skating, so we have sizes extra small through extra large just behind me. They are stored here. So we basically grab them, put them into a basket, and bring them out when it is time to host our public skating. But this is where they live. This is Sammy's designated desk right here. And then of course, this is PM's desk. Probably shouldn't be sitting in his chair, but I don't think he will mind for the sake of this video. He's got 2 monitors here, keyboard, there's a phone here, there's a printer, and then a bunch of documents and files, things like that. This is a part of Backstage you probably haven't seen before on my channel. We are currently downstage left. We do have some chairs here, and you can access the ice from here. You just have to take the stairs up and down through the audience. Honestly, this space is bigger than our backstage, so it's a shame that we don't utilize it more, but so it goes. It's a nice open space. We have some of the spotlights that go onto the ice just right there, and this curtain does pull back, but of course it does stay closed. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I am now upstage right. This is another space for us to get changed throughout the show. It's pretty much the same thing as stage left upstage, but there is no desk for the PM because he does operate the show from over there. So we do have a little bit more space on this side, and like I said, I do have about half of my changes on this side. So this is my designated spot right next to the shoe rack. I lay out some of my costumes, I hang some of my costumes, and then I also put my basket underneath there. Little story for you. So when we first signed on the ship, this extra space actually did not exist. So this wall connected all the way to the other side, which definitely gave us a lot less space to work with, and we can't change right in the door opening to enter and exit the ice. So eventually they realized they could knock out the wall and give us a little bit more space, which was super helpful. So this is my spot right here. This is my feather duster for one of the sections of the shows, and then I preset some accessories in here. Costumes I hang up here as well as lay down on the bench, and then like I said, I have some stuff underneath as well. Similar to the other side, we do have another rack, so there's a lot of presets going on here, and I also try to hang some of my costumes during the second show after I've used them, just because it makes the cleanup process a bit easier and quicker. So I will hang my costumes back up before bringing them upstairs after the show. We do have a full-length mirror to the right of me, and this one I can actually use, which is great. Not that I have much time to touch up anything during the show, but I can double check my wig once I put that on. Stage right, we have 3 different racks, so this is the 3rd rack. There is a first aid kit behind it and another shoe rack hanging here for some more presets. Some hairspray, some fishnets, a comb, some odds and ends that people use throughout the show. And this is the final corner of this little section. So we've got 2 chairs here and a mirror, another mirror that I can't use because clearly it is too high for me, even in skates. Going a little bit deeper through stage right, we have a hallway, which basically just leads to more open space. This is literally all it is. It's just like a little bit of extra space. I know Trent has some presets here. This is where he changes during the show. We used to have a rack here when we were bringing the Candy Couture costumes up and down from the dressing room. This is where we would leave it. But obviously now we hang them on the other side. So this is a nice open space. And honestly, it's not really utilized, but it could be, depending from cast to cast, maybe someone will set a preset here. Who knows? Similarly to the other side, we do have a hallway that connects upstage to downstage. This one is used a little bit differently. So it is the same width, but there is a cage right here. So they use this for storage. I actually don't know most of the stuff that is in here, but it is storage. It's usually locked, and there is a hallway that's much more narrow. This we can also use to get from downstage to upstage throughout the show, or vice versa. So it's very useful for the show, but we don't have any sort of costume presets here. Last but not least, we have downstage right. This is definitely the smallest area we have to change. There is access to the ice, just like downstage left. You can see the staircase is just behind me, but it's a very tight squeeze. It's very narrow, so there's not a ton of options. I actually never come down here during the show. The final part of this Studio B tour is the dressing room, which is where we are right now. As a member of the Ice Cast, there are 4 different classes of ships we can work on. So there's Voyager class, Freedom class, Oasis class, and now Icon class. Aside from Icon, this is the only class of ships that have a dressing room. For Freedom and Voyager class ships, we have to get ready in our own cabins, and the costumes actually live backstage. But it's really nice to have this dressing room because it gives us more space, and it's a really nice place to do your hair and makeup for showtime. We have a cast of 12 here on Utopia, so there are 6 girls and 6 boys. The girls all have their own spot at the mirror to get ready. I keep all of my makeup in the dressing room, even if it's just for daily use, because it's just more convenient. Everything is here and I don't have to transport a big makeup bag from the cabin here on a show day. I have also slightly decorated my little spot at the mirror just to make it more homey. So I've got a couple pictures, I've got some ornaments hanging, and I have a ton of ducks that I've been gifted. This is the biggest collection I've ever had. So this is my spot. You guys have probably seen me do my hair and makeup a billion times at this spot, but I am next to Olga, and then on the other side of me is Alex. What's also great about the dressing room is that we do have a washer and dryer in here, so wardrobe can wash all the costumes on rotation. Olga is our designated wardrobe coordinator for the contract, so she is in charge of washing all the costumes and taking care of all the repairs as well. So if something does go wrong with our costumes, we just write it down on this costume repair sheet. So you put the date, your name, and then what needs to be fixed. Right behind me we have a whiteboard, and this is where Olga writes down whatever is being washed that day. Obviously we have so many costumes, she can't take care of all of them every single time we have a show, but she does have a rotation of what gets washed. So whatever she decides that day after the show day, she'll just write it here. And then we have to put it on the rack, inside out, zipped, hooked, attach the bit bag to the hanger, and that's pretty much it. So this is my cubby. This is where I keep all of my costumes for the show. Because I am very type A, I like to organize them in show order. I know most people don't do this, but I like to have them in the order of the show. So I have opening, roses, I've got cars / woman, mambo, candy, and finale. I also have my Ready Freddy in here. This is what I throw on after the shows. And then I also have my understudy costume in here. So this is the jacket for opening, and then this is the little skirt with the bodysuit. My understudy is La Vie en Rose, which is Akane's track. So I have that ready to go. Those are fit to my measurements. So those are there. And then I also keep my parade costume in here as well. One thing I did forget to mention is that we do have our show notes in here. So we get together before showtime and Sammy goes over any corrections for the show just to make sure that the show is nice and clean, organized, and everyone has the right choreo and counts. So this is where we always meet either 45 minutes before the first show or 30 minutes before the second show. And there you have it. That is Studio B backstage in a nutshell. Now that you guys have seen Studio B, let's head on over to the polar opposite of Studio B, which is the Aqua Theater.
Hi, it's Gracie and I'm in the Aqua cast and welcome to Backstage Aqua. Come on in. So back here we have, this is our area. These are one of our pedestals that we use in the show. Scuba actually brings these underwater and carries them. They are very heavy, as you can see. At one point during the show, they rise up and it kind of makes it look like we're floating on water, which is really cool. Yeah, so we have our cold plunge. This is our cold pod. After shows, we best believe we're hopping in here for a nice body therapy. It's amazing. I'm glad we got to get this. Ropes that I don't know what to do, but they're cool ropes. So this is our side stage screen. You can see this is underwater. This is actually where scuba goes. It is very tight down there, very claustrophobic. I don't know how they do it, but kudos to them, it's amazing. So we get to see that, we get to see them swimming in and out, which is cool for their tracks, and then our track here we get to see, it's kind of nice to get to watch backstage also, because we don't really get to see much because the audience is right there. This, if you're wondering, big red button. Everyone always loves a big red button. Don't ever press it because show stop. My elbow almost hits it sometimes, but don't worry, I've never pressed it before. And this is our pool entrance, one of our pool entrances. We have one on each side, so 2 in total. This is actually the only way we get in and out of the pool besides diving from 10 meter or jumping in from the teak in the front. We have a curtain here that covers, so you can't really see, which is nice. Yeah, it's pretty small, but we get at least 4 or 5 people in, we can swim out, and it's pretty easy. Yes, this is the floor. This is the same surface as the pedestal over there, so kind of look similar, but yeah, this is really grippy so that we don't slip and slide, and then we come up to splash height and you can go all the way up to all the way down. And then this is kind of what you saw on that screen over there. This is the entrance for scuba when they go in. So they'll probably set up here and get their gear on usually, and then when it's showtime, plop down in there and get in their man cave. But yeah, can you imagine what's big? There are women in there too. Women too. It's about 14 feet and it kind of strings all the way along through this area kind of over here. And underwater there are 2 entrances for scuba to come in and out. So they head on in here before shows, and then during shows when they're coming to do scuba catches, we have 2 kind of cave openings, we call it, and they can come and swim in and out. And when we do our entrances and exits, they kind of come out, grab us, and then they'll swim us out along the pool and then give us a nice squeeze, and we just kind of paddle our way on up, and then they go back in the cave. Behind this beautiful door right here, we usually keep this open during shows. This is mainly used for our divers. I use it as well. Some of the girls, like me included, get to go up on 10 meter, which is really cool, and dance up there. So this is actually the ladder that takes you up all the way to 3 meter, 10 meter, and 17 meter, which is really high. So these are the stairs that the divers climb up and down. And if you can imagine how quick the dives are, they run up this ladder, so it's insane. And it's a little bit scary sometimes. We always have to remind ourselves, like, really check your hands, really grip your hands, because there's so many things obviously in here that if you fall, you could really hurt yourself. But there's another section, and this isn't even 17 meter, it goes up even higher. So this is where we keep our costumes. Not too glamorous, but we've got a nice string that holds it, so it's really nice. We have to spin our costumes every night and then leave them out here so they can dry. And then before shows, we'll just come pick them up and take them to our respective spots.
I love the costumes of this show. They're so cool.
So yeah, and then right next to it we have, this is one of the scuba spots where they keep their regulators, their gear, equipment, their fins and everything, and then before shows they'll check everything and then bring them on up to a backstage area. Heading up over here we have the girls' shower. Pretty fun, pretty nice, pretty big. We've got a big bucket here just in case. We leave this backstage and fill it up with water so we can dip our costumes in to get all the chlorine out before we let them dry, just because chlorine's so damaging. So yeah, we do this and then we shower here every night. These are the synchros costumes, pretty much same as ours, except they do get to wear heels in the show, which is super sick. And these actually, this is like a float almost. Synchros wear this around their waist to help keep them underwater for long periods of time when they have to do like choreo all the way across the stage. This is what they'll wear. My right, y'all's left, I hope. This is the girls' dressing room, so come on in.
Is it locked?
Just kidding.
Not the choreo.
Just kidding, that was my just kidding dance. It's not open.
Okay, it's locked. Sorry guys.
So this is our female girl dressing room. I actually love our female dressing room because it just reminds me of like having a nice vanity. We have like nice little lights and everything. We get to do our makeup. We do wind downs in here sometimes, sit and chill. Our makeup, if you're wondering, we do wear makeup when we come into Aqua, when we go into the water. Yeah, it's a lot of powder. We get to do, I almost call it like an alien-esque kind of makeup look because we have like a nice cool triangle here and our colors are purple, green, and blue that we wear on our face. The green is a nice neon color and that comes from like across and up here. And it almost looks like beams of light, kind of like of rays of lights. It's really cool. So we have like a purple triangle that'll come up here. We'll have a nice blue line here, a green, and then a green this way. And then depending, some synchros don't usually wear liner, but I like wearing liner because I think it defines the face more. The makeup we do wear, because we're in water so much and coming in and out, it needs to be able to stay on our face. Most of the makeup we use is waterproof. However, waterproof, like coming in and out and dancing and being able to like lift and climbing and also taking in sweating and like having product in our hair, it all adds into like our makeup coming off. So one thing that we actually do that really helps keep our makeup on is powder. Kind of just dab it on and that really helps our makeup really stick in. Coming this way we have the boys. This is our slackliners, and then we have our male dancers right here. Costumes are a little different for them, but pretty much the same also.
I love how the girls' shower has so many products and the boys it's like just a generic conditioner.
A generic conditioner that everyone uses. Wraps up your backstage Aqua Access tour, you guys. A little bit about our show also, since you sell the costumes and how they're so colorful and all the makeup that goes into it. It is Aqua 82 here on Utopia. This show is incredible. I love it. This is my first Aqua show. The music is insane too. I love it. I love getting to see all the other people and like the audience members enjoy it as well, and it kind of just, it makes everything worthwhile here. So yeah, I'm glad you guys got to see a little bit back into our backstage life and what goes on, our daily lives and our nights and stuff like that behind the scenes.
It was the coolest thing to see Backstage Aqua. I've actually never been down there, so that was just as enjoyable for me as it might have been for you. Last but not least, let's head over to the Royal Theater and Kiara is going to show us around. Hi, I'm Kiara. I'm one of the dancers in the Royal Theater, and today I'm going to take you on a tour backstage. Come with me. Let's go. So here we're going to enter backstage. The backstage here is pretty big here at the Royal Theater. Smaller ships, much smaller here, big wide space. As you see, we have things like mirrors, hooks. A lot of our quick changes are done in these corridors. We have a preset call, so usually an hour before show, all the dancers will come, set up their costumes, so they're ready for the show. Okay, so here we're gonna enter stage left. This is one of the side stage wings. This is where a lot of the entrances and exits are made for the dancers and singers. Okay, so stage left. So this is one of our entrances and exits to the stage. As you can see, it enters right onto the stage. This is where singers, dancers, flyers, we all make our entrances and exits. We also have another entrance up here that goes to the staircase, which is at the front of the house. We have some set pieces kept here, some lights, nothing too crazy. Side stage compared to the stage is a lot smaller, so we try to keep it as minimal as possible. Backstage again, we're heading into the garage. The garage is where we keep all of our big set pieces. So the main set pieces in the show all live back here. Okay, so these are all the set pieces for All In. Over here we have our light poles, that's featured in our Miami section. Over here, this is probably our biggest set piece. It's the Studio 54 section. If you come over here, we've got a few more pieces. One, Burning Man section, which is a huge head that the dancers have to push. I got lucky, I do not have to push that. And here, this is our Miami slide. No one actually goes down it, it's just for looks. So, so if you catch me on it, abort mission, abort. But if something's happening on stage, there'll be something else down. The stage staff will move things around to get the next set piece ready. It goes on the tracks, and then when the PM calls it, it'll track forward. So, yeah, it's cool. Hey Sue, you want to be in the YouTube video? Hey, how's it going? Conditioning. They ask, I'm coming. Okay, so heading into the laundry room. This is where costumes are washed. It's also the boys' dressing room. This cast of female dancers is a lot, so we actually had to steal the boys' dressing room. So they get the laundry room. Backstage tour. So moving on, we have the male singer dressing room. There's 3 male singers, so they all get their own dressing room. Yeah. So this is where male singers usually prepare. They've got microphones they need to put on for shows. Costumes, they don't necessarily have as many presets. They do a lot of their costume changes in here. So that's where they live. Sometimes they practice in here, sometimes they're just warming up. So yeah. So this is kind of like a running track during the show. It's one way to get from one side of the stage to the other. So as we come through, hey! This is one of the female dancer dressing rooms, so we're gonna head in. As you can see, everyone's kind of got their own little station. It's small, but we make it work. So this is actually my dressing room. I have nothing, so don't know what happened there. No, but this is the other 6 dancers, so we share this space. Door stays open, but yeah, this was supposed to be the male dancer dressing room, but priorities. This is my copy over here. As you can see, I have all my shoes, costumes for all of the shows. I'm in All In and Name That Tune, and Parade. Can't forget Parade, of course. She's number 1. So yeah, we just keep our costumes here. Some of my presets are also done here. Depends how much time I have during numbers. But once I'm done with them, hang them up, spray them, close the curtain, call it a day. That's it. As we leave, we're just heading to the other side of the stage. We keep show counts here. If there's any important notes, trainings, our company manager will pop them up. And that's really just a little board to keep us posted. And then this is the female singers dressing room. So again, 3 female singers. There they are! On cue. I think someone's in there.
That was so funny. That's okay.
Okay, we've got the boys, but it's the same. Yeah, so the female singers dressing room is exactly the same as the male singer dressing room. Just the 3 singers, same thing. They do costume changes in there, mic changes, all that stuff. So heading towards stage right now. It's exactly the same this side. I do a few quick changes here actually. As you can see, we have mirrors on this side of the stage as well. So usually presets here, get changed here and head back into the wing. So again, this is stage right wing. We have another set piece kept here. Not much stays here. A lot of the quick changes happen on this side. So we try to keep it as minimal as possible. We have like our own backstage track for costume changes, set changes, all of the above. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So in the show, I'm one of the aerialists, and that means I need to enter from the grid, which is right up the top of stage. To do that, I do my quick change here, and then I take this very long staircase right up to the top. That's where I get loaded in. I then enter the stage and I fly back out, come down the same way. So that's a backstage tour of the Royal Theatre. Thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed. So there you have it. Those are the 3 main venues on board. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the backstage and getting a little bit of insight as to what goes on during a show. I personally love seeing all the behind the scenes stuff, so thought it would be interesting to share with you guys, and I just hope you enjoyed. If you guys have questions regarding performing and backstage, anything revolving around the life of a performer, I can definitely do another Q&A, so drop your questions below and I will hopefully get to those soon. But that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, thank you again for watching. I love you to the moon and back, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.